Jimmy, after last night, is there a sale at Big Face the morning after, or?
I don't do sales. I don't do free coffee. We're going to do everything the exact same like we're supposed to do on the basketball floor. We're going to keep our prices at $20.
How is stuff like that helped kind of make this stay as tolerable as possible?
Just like Jay said, it helps to take your mind away from the game. It gives us something else to talk about, compete at a little bit, and just another way to talk through the game, sitting over coffee, sitting over wine, a beer, whatever it may be. And more than anything, it just brings us together even more because we really do enjoy being around one another.
Next question is Ethan Skolnick.
Jimmy, considering the stakes and the stage, and you guys being a couple men down, is that the best game you've ever played?
Probably not. I was really good whenever I was in high school. I played in this league where I played against like all 45-year-old men, and I really dominated whenever I was like 17. So this is up there, but back then I was killing them.
Next question, Dave in the center.
Jimmy, from the time you came into this league, late first-round pick, I think 30th, and finding your way into that Bulls rotation to all the stops you've made since, was there a time where you changed your own expectation for yourself, where you're like, I can not just be an all-star, I could be, X, I could be a max player, et cetera?
Definitely. I think it helped to have like Luau and Ronnie Brewer and then Coach Adrian Griffin. They're always telling me, like, you're going to make your mark in this league. You deserve to be here. You belong here. And then that's when I really started to be like, you know what? Like, if these guys are telling me that, they've been here way longer than I have. They know what it takes. That's when I started thinking, you know what? Maybe you can become a decent player in this league. I always say, yeah, I'm going to make the NBA Finals. I want to play in the NBA Finals. I want to win a championship. And that time for me is now. So talking about it then, being in that position now, I'm here for a reason just like everybody else is.
Mark?
Jimmy, what do you think NBA fans, kind of the world, has learned about you over these last few months on and off the court that perhaps they didn't get an opportunity to know before, or perhaps they had the wrong idea before?
For me, that I'm just all about winning. I'll do whatever you ask me to do if you can guarantee me a win. And I realize that nothing's guaranteed, but I'll do whatever you ask me to do to put my team in the best position to win. That's it.
And also, in terms of with so much love for the three right now, can you take me into the mentality of your mid-range game and how you use it to get a triple-double and not shoot a three and still have a brilliant old-school game, I guess?
I think it's easy whenever you have the guys that I have around me. So many good shooters that you can't leave. Like I said, I have the easy job. They give me so many gaps to get into the paint, to shoot a pull-up J, to get to the free throw line. And I'm going to continue to play that way. I take what the game gives me, whatever my teammates ask me to do. I'm pretty sure if they ask me to go out there and make a couple threes, I'm capable of it. But if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Next question, Rob Mahoney from The Ringer.
Hey, Jimmy, could you speak to the impact that Jay and Andre have had on the series so far and just what you've come to expect from those guys since they joined the team?
They're winners. They're winners. And they got a difficult job in guarding AD and then guarding LeBron and then going down there and having to make shots and do everything for us all over the floor. All the stuff that you don't see on the stat sheet is what those guys do for us, and they're all winning plays, every single one of them. We respect that. We love that. We wouldn't be here without them. And I tell them as much as I can how much I appreciate them, how much I appreciate playing alongside those guys and for what they do for me, for our young guys, and just for the organization as a whole. I do.
Next question, Mark Medina.
Hey, Jimmy, what's been your day-to-day approach in the off season and then during the season and film sessions, practices, that has gotten to where you are with your performances?
Um, just work. Make sure your body's ready to go. I got some, James Scott is who I do all my agility and weightlifting with whenever I'm back home. Armando Rivas, he's here with me to make sure my body's working the way that it's supposed to. I got Coach Quinney, Coach O, DC. I got a lot of people that really help me to be great and to be ready to perform at the highest level. So all in all, it's a lot of work that goes into it, like everybody's doing right now. But I think I got the best of the best rolling with me.
Next question is Jason Jackson.
Jimmy, you've made it plain over the year with Miami that there's a certain way you like to play, particularly on the offensive end, and it's much more of a collective than maybe the dominant way you did last night. And Coach told us, I'm checking my notes here, we don't care what he thinks, that it's time for you to continue to be this dominant. Is that the only trigger you need, is Coach and the staff and your teammates not caring about the way you would like to play and demanding that type of dominance?
I think they know what buttons to press to get me to play the way that they want me to play. But I just want to win. I don't think that that's winning basketball all the time. I don't. I think winning basketball is Duncan's gonna go off for 6 or 7 threes. Tyler can do that. Kanan can do that. Jay's gonna have a big night. We're all locked in defensively. To me, those are the best wins. I mean, we celebrate every win, but when somebody else has a great night that nobody expected, I love it. I really do. Like, you could say I'm supposed to do what I did last night, but I don't think so. I think I'm waiting on Tyler or Duncan, Bam, one of those guys that have a night to where I'm just like, I get the opportunity to play with that. What a blessing.
Next question, back right, Tim.
Jimmy, to that, one, are you willing? I mean, if this is the way it's going to have to be, are you willing to do that the rest of the way? If that's going to be what it takes, I know you want your other guys. You've tried to get them involved all year, but are you willing? If Game 3 plays out again in 4, 5, 6, or 7, do you accept that? I mean,
I have to. I think as long as we win, everybody's happy with that. But we got to win. Whatever it takes to get to that point. Yeah, I can't say that that's what it's going to come to. But if coach is like, hey, I need you to do this, my guys are like, yo, we need you to do this, I got to go out there and I got to do it. I got to make sure that we win.
and as I'm sure your body knows, you have played almost every minute the last 2 games. You got fouled 11 times last night. I don't know how many times you got hit. You spoke about what your trainer did with you in the offseason, but what's the process last night, this morning, to start rebuilding the machine and get ready for tomorrow?
A lot of rest, a lot of treatment, a lot of everything. But I think a lot of it's mental. You know your body's gonna be hurting, but you gotta tell your mind and tell your body to cut it out. And I think that's where I'm at this point. Everybody's hurting, not just me. Everybody on my roster, everybody on the Lakers roster, we're all, nicked up. We all got some pain, but we're all coming out there to compete.
Last question from the Zoom, Jose Pineda.
Jimmy, just following up on what Tim Reynolds said, Jeff Ziegler today described in an article that you were indefatigable, that you can't be fatigued. I know I had to look it up as well. That's impossible. I had to look it up as well. Incapable of being fatigued was the word, which I thought was a great use of that word, which I didn't even know what it meant. So following up on what Tim Reynolds said, how long for you to recover? Because you had to go 2 ways. You played the most minutes as a Heat player, regular season or playoffs, you personally last night. So how long does that take, as Tim said, for you to recover, and how do you feel?
I think I actually think I recover quite fast because all I can hear is Spo over and over again telling me how I'm not tired. That's literally what he tells me in the middle of the game. And I'm just like, all right, coach, I guess you know how I'm feeling. Yeah, I'm not tired. And so going into it, it's like you can't be tired. You can't be banged up. These guys need you to count on you. And if they see you, that's how they're going to be. So to the best of my ability, I'm working on my body. I go in there this morning, I see Tyler in there. I see Duncan in there. I see Myers in there. I see everybody in there. So I know that they're feeling the same way I am, but they're getting ready to go again.
In particular in this series, just to grind out and be able to get that win was extremely challenging and tough. And you can expect it to be even tougher the next game. That's what the playoffs are about. Taking on big challenges. Our guys are really competitive. I know they'll be looking forward to tomorrow night. And to answer your second question about KO and Myers, I mean, they're just great professionals. We've said it all year long that our depth is one of our best strengths. That's not just coach speak. You have to have the right kind of pros that are really willing to be all about the team. And that requires sacrifice at times. So the minutes weren't always there for them this season, but they contributed in a big way at different points. Myers obviously starting 60-plus games, and KO at various times was filling a really important role for us off the bench. And then you have these things that are unpredictable that can happen with injuries or with COVID, and they both kept themselves ready and they're producing, when it's needed most with Bam out. But they're different. I think people look at them maybe and see a similar player. They each bring something a little bit different to our game, and it just helps, with our diversity of our menu.
Morgan, next.
Hey, Coach. A lot of coaches coach for the teams that they have, and then others coach for the teams that they want. What has given you the ability through your coaching journey to be able to make those adjustments and adjust to the team that you have so well?
Like, what exactly do you mean by that?
Like some coaches, like, this is my system, we're going to run it. If it doesn't work, like that.
I don't know if coaches are really as much of that kind of philosophy anymore. I think the game has changed so much that every coach has had to adapt. That's part of the absolute joy of being in this profession, is being able to be around different kind of teams, personalities, coach different styles of play, based on that team. And we've had to do that, several times the last few years. And that's been an exhilarating experience. Can't ask for anything more in this profession than to be challenged and be around amazing people. And even before this season, we've been around some really cool people and these relationships you'll be able to develop the rest of your life. And with this group, it's like that, even more so. And then to be able to go through this life experience of being in this bubble and going through everything that everybody's going through, but doing this together, I think has been a really special experience, something that we'll remember for the rest of our lives.
Dan, here in the front.
To sort of piggyback off what you were just saying, Spo, we just talked to, Bam and Goran, and you could hear how badly they want to be out there. We see things like Big Face and Little Face Coffin. We see how much you guys enjoy being around each other. Do you think this group, just in general, could any team survive this life experience if they didn't like each other and they didn't want to be around each other?
I don't know. That's tough to say.
That your team isn't like that?
And there's a lot of contributing factors. You know, like many things in life, it's not necessarily absolute. So a lot of things can be true. Yes, this group has a connection and a bond that really has grown, I think more importantly, where they feel a responsibility to each other. That's what plays out on the court, not necessarily that you get along with your friends. That makes the experience more enjoyable and memorable that we'll remember, you know, years from now. But it's that responsibility and accountability. You don't want to let the guy down next to you. That's a great quality that this group has.
Next question, Jason Jackson, TV.
Coach Jimmy has noted throughout the season and playoffs that he doesn't like a Butler-centric offense, that he prefers a collective approach in that space. What is the process, because he does credit you and the staff and his teammates to transition his thinking about needing a performance like he provided last night? What is that process?
We don't care what he thinks about that right now. We're way past that now. There's no turning back. He has to make some things happen for us. He did that in a brilliant way last night, and then likely have to do something very similar to that again for us to be able to accomplish what we want to accomplish. You can't, just be, normal. You have to be extraordinary, and he was last night. He's shouldering major responsibilities on both sides of the floor. This is what he's always wanted as a competitor. This is what we want from him. He's going to continue to get tested and challenged by this competition, and I just love seeing, what's coming out of that competition.
Dave in the center.
Staying on Jimmy, playoff performances make guys' reputation in this league, finals performances even more so. When you got him in the program, considering his skill set, considering his age, was there any thought or conversation about like what this Miami experience could do in terms of how you're going to be recognized, like the term legacy, or in terms of the level you could reach?
I think that's always there on the periphery. It's not something we have to necessarily discuss on a day-to-day basis. But you walk around our hallways at the American Airlines Arena, there's a lot of legacy and history that I think if you're coming into our building and you're a real competitor and a real winner, you understand it even at an unspoken level. And that ain't for everybody. Some people can walk through those hallways and maybe get intimidated by that legacy and our expectations. He wants all of that. He wants the pressure, he wants the expectations, and he wants the challenge of what this level can bring.
Jeff on your left.
We just got done talking to Goran, and I know you've touched on this a little bit, Eric, but how do you reconcile the very human aspect of Goran's disappointment of not being able to play versus the reality of what you have in front of you, and you do have to move on and play?
Yeah.
While still recognizing how difficult it is.
I feel like we've been going through that for weeks. First and foremost, I want to empathize and show compassion, to Goran and Bam. I meant it when I said it yesterday. I can see it in their soul, through their eyes. Well, how much this means to them and how badly they want to get back out here. But you have to compartmentalize, as a team, and we came here with a purpose and a task at hand, and everybody is just focusing on that, whoever's available, until if or when we get those guys back, and even those guys just being in the locker room and in our huddles, that moves the needle in whatever way they can. There is an energy to that, There is a karma to that, and we'll just see. You know what happens. The body will heal as it'll heal.
All right, our last question for Coach Spolstra from Anthony Chang.
Baseball, how unique does it make Jimmy in today's modern NBA where you can have a game like last night without even attempting a three-pointer, just obviously getting most of his points in the paint and just by drawing fouls or getting to the foul line?
Yeah, I think if you just constantly try to evaluate him and put him in a box of conventional thinking of basketball, you're just only going to get confused. He is an elite competitor. He is a great basketball player, and it's attached to how he impacts winning, not to this modern day definition of three-point percentage or 3-and-D or, all these little terms you hear. He's a throwback. It's about how he impacts winning, how he impacts your team, your locker room, your culture, and your franchise. He does that in a remarkable way.
Jay, how important, big picture, was it for you? Got some shots to fall. I think Duncan got a couple to go down. Tyler made his last couple. I mean, after kind of a slow start. How winning was, of course, the biggest thing, and what Jimmy did was what Jimmy did. But how much did you guys need to see the ball go through a couple of times too, as you try to keep this thing going?
I mean, well, it was good. Obviously that was big, but at the same time, we know we have two major guys out, especially on that end of the court for us, and we have to fill that void collectively. I think that's what we've done last night, and we got to continue to do so throughout the whole series. So it was good for us to support and have some good options for Jimmy on that end of the court.
Next question will be from Ethan Skolnick.
Hey, Jay. Anthony Davis, after having obviously a really strong previous game, you guys limited him quite a bit more in the second game. Obviously, I know it's difficult to replicate against a player of that quality, but were there specific things that happened in the game in that regard, or is it just playing him harder or differently? What happened there?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's a great scorer, and you just want to make it as difficult as possible. I felt like and we played less zone, I think, game 3 than we did in the previous game, so they controlled his offensive rebound a little bit. I think we want to take that away from him. We obviously know he can score the ball at a high level, but we gave him a lot of second chance points, a lot of second chance points that we did not want to give up. So we just wanted to cut that out a little bit and put a body on him as much as possible, and make every catch and every shot attempt, every ISO as difficult as possible. You can't stop a player like that. He's a hell of a player. You just want to make stuff as difficult as possible for him on that end of the court. So that's pretty much it. I feel like.
Hey, how much experience have you had guarding taller? Do you like the challenge of guarding guys who've got some length on you, a little bit taller than you? How is that different than guarding a guy your size?
I mean, I just take on the challenge. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. I take it on. Obviously, it's a tough task for anybody in our league to take on that challenge, but I'm willing to do it. I'm one of the guys who are willing to do it, and try to do it at a high level. Try to make it as difficult as possible. I know I'm not going to stop him. Not going to stop him from making shots, but I can make him work, and I can make it as tough as possible, and try to wear him down as the course of the game goes on. So, just take on the challenge, and make it as difficult as possible. That's my whole mindset.
Next question, Jason Jackson.
Jay, there seems to be a variety of ways you guys have gone about this, all the way from the Pacers series to now, and each of your wins, and seemingly each one is needed more. Spo talks about the more that's always needed in each game that succeeds. What is the more that's needed tomorrow?
I mean, just try to impose your will, impose our game plan for more minutes of the game, and hopefully give ourselves a chance to close it out in the fourth quarter. I just think that's our mindset. We want to start the games well, and obviously the game of basketball is a course of runs, so we got to respond to their runs as well. and limit those runs to as less frequently as possible that can happen. I feel like that with that team, they're a great offensive running team, and once you try to make it as difficult as possible for them and try to slow the game down from them on that end of the court and less fast break points, you put yourself in position to win the game. And I feel like we got to continue to do that. It's not an easy task, easily said, but it's not an easy task. And I just think we just have to start games well and find a way to sustain that throughout the game and close out games and put ourselves in position to close out games and not play from behind.
Question in person, Dave McMenamin.
Jay, you had your run-ins with LeBron's teams when you were in Boston in the playoffs. Then you guys were teammates, and now you guys are here on the finals. How do you view him as either an influence or a character or someone that's kind of been a constant in your career?
I mean, well, if you're trying to get to the top of the food chain, you got to go through him. I just always viewed it as that. Obviously, I joined him, and I just took from joining him just his approach to the game, whether it be physically, whether it be mentally, just his total approach is high level. I think you respect that as a player in our league. Just respect that what he puts into his craft. And like I said, playing against him, there's no way around it. At some point, if you're trying to get to the top, you got to go through him, and that's just what it is. And I like that as a competitor. You just you want to beat the best. You don't want anything to be handed to you. And I feel like this is where it has come to. This is the finals, and you got to go through him to get to where you want to be, and that's to win in the championship. So that's just the mindset that I've always had. Going back to the Boston days, is the mindset. We got to go through him to get out of the East, and that's where I'm at with it now. Still.
Dan?
Jay, you guys seem to embrace the fact that once you got here, you might be stuck here for a while. How have things like, he's standing right here, big face coffee, little face coffee, like that type of stuff, how's that help kind of break up monotony, and has that been good for overall chemistry, I guess? And what's your order?
I mean, the coffee thing, it helps just to laugh, just to find laughter in it. Obviously, it helps us laugh like we're doing now. But we don't talk about the other stuff that we do, like the card games we have that I'm dominant in. We don't talk about the stuff like that, and that helps just build chemistry. That helps just get your mind away from obviously missing family. A lot of us miss family tremendously, but we do have a goal here, and we are locked in to achieve that goal. And I just feel like we do a lot of stuff together just to help us cope with the fact that we're away from loved ones, and we are here for a purpose. And no matter how long it takes, we're all in it together, and we're all here inside the bubble trying to achieve that goal.
Tyler, how important was the last night's win on Game 3 about the next game of the series, and also about you? You are a starting playmaker of this team, and how big responsibility is for you to replace Goran Dragic?
I think last night's win was probably our biggest win of the playoffs. Obviously, we've been in some big games, but last night we definitely needed that one. It's a different series if we go down 3-0 opposed to, cut the deficit to 2-1. So, last night was a must win for us, and, we did what we were supposed to do, but, there's, a lot more games, 3 more games that we need to win. So, we're going to get back to work today and, make some adjustments and be ready for Game 4.
And about the snarl during the game that made it viral, what it means this move?
The snarl, I kind of just did it. I've never really made that face before, like ever in my entire life. It kind of just happened in the midst of things, in the moment. It's just how it is when you're a competitor.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Jeremy Allingham, CBC Radio. How's it going in Vancouver? Just tell us what it's like to be, as far as I can tell, the first player from BC in the modern era to be playing in the NBA Finals. Bob Hurregs played in 1955 and 6. What's that like? What does that mean for you to be kind of blazing that trail?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. Obviously, kind of hardly home, always repping. I'm proud of, to be Canadian, be from BC, Kamloops, and I've grown a lot. Grown up there, kind of, built, what I was there as a basketball player, and it's prepared me for everything I'm doing now. And hopefully that inspires some kids back in BC, whether it's Kamloops or Vancouver or anything, or watching and know that this stuff's possible. If you put in the work and the effort and stay true to yourself, you can pave your own path.
All right, next up we have Christos from SDNA Greece. Go ahead.
Hello, Kelly. What it means this reaction last night on Game 3 for your team? And do you personally feel more responsible to play for Bam Adebayo, who is out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great win for us. When we needed to get ourselves going. Yeah, I mean, obviously with Bam out, we got a lot of big shoes to fill. Offensively, defensively, scoring on the glass. He does an immense amount of things for our team. So, obviously it's not just me, it's everybody who's kind of picking up his slack, where he leaves off. And, hopefully we can get him back and healthy. But, until then we gotta pick up for our guy who's down.
And you think that this win will give you the momentum about the Game 4?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to carry that into Game 4. Obviously they're going to come with a plan to be better in Game 4, and we got to be better ourselves. The same game we played in Game 3 isn't going to win Game 4, so we know that.
All right, Stephen Long, go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, Kelly. I was just wondering, given your history in big games, you've always raised in big games for the national team, how much has that helped you kind of step in and contribute a lot with Bam out here in the finals?
Yeah, the national team has been huge for me, in my development, just playing against pros, all the time. And, basically when you play with the national team, every game is a do or die game, a playoff game. When you're in those tournaments, and that's basically what you're playing right now, in the playoffs. So, it's definitely been great preparation for me, and playing with the national team and having to be a main option and a guy that's counted on a lot. That goes into stepping into a role right now where my team's counting on me to do some things out here and be great.
And given your skill set, it looks like you have some advantages over guys like Dwight and Anthony. What are you seeing out there, with your quickness and your shooting ability?
You're just trying to space the floor, draw them out of the paint. The Lakers go big. They protect the rim really well, protect the paint, and makes it difficult on our guards and guys like Jimmy to get in there and do damage. So, if we can spread the floor and make it difficult on them, whether they're trying to switch or do whatever, we got to be able to capitalize and just using your skills to your advantage.
Thanks a lot, Kelly.
All right, next up we have Chad Klassen. Go ahead, Chad.
Hey, Kelly, just Chad Klassen from CFJC in Kamloops here. Just talk to me a little bit. What's been the biggest difference for you? You've obviously played more minutes, put up some big numbers here in the last couple of games. What's been the difference for you out there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that opportunity helps. But just getting out there and seizing the opportunity and knowing that I need to make plays in order for us to be successful, and our teammates trusting each other, moving the ball, being unselfish, whether it's Jimmy, making the right plays, or guys making extra passes, whatever it is, and then just taking advantage, when the opportunities come. and just kind of playing in a flow. Not being, not pressing things too much. Just letting the game come to you. And when you do that, that's when you'll be most successful.
How's it been being matched up with Anthony Davis there, who's looking like potentially the Finals MVP?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're just trying to limit his opportunities, as much as we can, make it as tough as we can on him. He got in foul trouble early in the last game, and then in the second half, you just got to limit him. He's been great so far in the first few games, but we got to do whatever we can to keep him under wraps.
Good, thanks, Kelly.
All right, next up we have Marty Haskins. Go ahead, Marty.
Hey, Kelly, it's Marty Hastings here from CBC Kamloops. Thanks for taking the time. I was at Thanksgiving dinner party last night with your buddy Scott Pinio, and he's living and dying with every single one of your shots, and there's a lot of people like that right now in Kamloops, man. Do you kind of understand the sway and kind of the power you have right now in households across Kamloops?
Maybe not as much as I thought, but whenever I go back to Kamloops, it's wonderful. I love that place, that town. My family, that town really, raised me. It's been unbelievable, and guys like Scott and all my friends and family back there, and everybody else, running my camp back there. It's been an unbelievable support system for me, and I'm glad that I can bring them along with me on this journey to the finals, and hopefully they keep watching, stick with us, and we can do something great.
Just one more follow-up there, Kelly. I was just texting back and forth with your high school coach, Dale Komarniski. How do you think he'd assess your play through the series so far?
I've talked to him a few times in the last week as well. He's always been in my corner. He's been huge influence on me as a player. Helping me get to where I am. Helping me get to Gonzaga first, and then to the NBA, and helping me whenever I go back. And he's a great basketball mind, and he's done a lot of great things for that basketball in Kamloops. And I'm glad to have him in my life, and he's been great for me. And it's another thing is that just that support system.
Thanks a lot, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Not having Goran, not having UD. I mean, not UD. I'm sorry, Bam, and how you guys really approach that next man up mentality, especially in your situation.
Yeah. So not having Goran and Bam for us is obviously very difficult, and those are guys that we've counted on. Those are guys who are proven, and it's one thing we always talk about is the next man up, and the ability to have guys stay ready day in and day out is a testament to the culture. It's a testament to each player, who has stayed ready. In the playoffs, it's like all bets are off. It's winning time, and it doesn't make it any easier. But when you stay ready and you remain positive on the bench during timeouts, in film sessions, everything matters. All the little things matter, and that's how you win games. The littlest things in a huddle, or listening to even Bam and Goran in those huddles, that's the biggest thing. Our togetherness. Our locker room is incredibly strong. We all believe in each other. We each have a chip on our shoulder for a different reason, and I know for me personally, I'm blessed to be a part of this group and this organization, and I'll do whatever the hell it takes to win. So that's me personally.
Next question, we have Malika Andrews. Myers, I know that you're kind of a spark plug always. You're especially animated on the bench yesterday. Does your mentality or your preparation or any of that change your role on the court grows in size?
That's a great question. I would say that I have to be a little bit more aware of, honestly, my energy level. For example, during the Milwaukee and Boston series, I had a pretty good idea that I wasn't going to be in the game. So being up and loud constantly it's something I always do, but there was another level to it. Coming into the Lakers series, I knew, they had a big front line. Then obviously when Bam went down, I knew that I was going to have probably an opportunity to play. And so I just have to pick my moments, but that's who I am regardless. I want the best for my team, best for my teammates, and it keeps me engaged as well. I'm always in the film. I'm always into the scout, because the truth about it is the playoffs is possession basketball and execution. If I can catch one pick and roll before it happens, or get one of our young guys rotated quicker, that leads to a stop and, let's say, an easy transition bucket that changes the game and that wins us the game, those things matter. So my communication has always been a big part of who I've been as a player, both on and off the floor. And so ultimately, yes, I do have to be a little bit more cognizant now of how much I'm expending whenever I maybe need to be, getting some rest. But regardless, I'm always going to use my voice and help however I can.
All right, next question, Mark Medina of the USA Today. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Myers, what jumps out to you from what you see with Jimmy's day-to-day behind the scenes?
You know what? For starters, Jimmy is a great leader and a great person. Obviously, I spent 7 years in Portland, and, you wonder, when you hear things around the league, you wonder, well, is it true? Is it not? What is Jimmy Butler really like? I, for one, never judge anybody until I know them personally. And he's the ultimate competitor. He's who you want to play with. Every single day, he is so focused and so dialed in, not only for himself, but helping others and helping his teammates. His routine when it comes to body work, recovery, diet, sleep, you name it, it's off the charts. He simply wants to win, and that's all that matters to him. Whatever it takes to win, he's going to do. And when it comes to challenging teammates or having a high level of expectation, I see no problem with that, because first of all, we're getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball, and we're playing a game we love. And so when you're talking about a guy who is a superstar, a max player, one of the best players in the league, I think it's okay that he holds his team accountable, because he's putting in the work. And so I see no issue with it. But to answer your question, his focus and level of detail and effort every single day is off the charts. When it comes to everything, you name it, film, whatever, the guy is locked in, and all he wants to do is win, and that's what I love about him.
Another question from our viewers.
Staying on Jimmy, what is it like? You saw this with Dame.
Yeah.
When they're on fire, what it's like to watch and play with a person like that, or especially like last night.
Yeah, it's incredible. So obviously Jimmy's performance last night, historic to say the least. I think there's only like 3 40-point triple doubles in finals history. Just the level of impact that Jimmy Butler has on the game is incredible. I watched him go in the Milwaukee series from scoring 40 to scoring, I don't know, maybe 15 and not caring because we won the next game. His level of detail when it comes to preparation and understanding how to execute a game plan is off the charts. Okay, if they're going to guard me, now I'm finding my young guys on the weak side, or I'm finding Bam at the rim, whatever it may be. His ability to be in the gap and then close out and stop the drive and then grab a rebound, take off in transition, like everything is just, his level of impact is truly incredible. And so last night in particular, he just wasn't willing to lose. And that's all there is to it. Again, he's the ultimate competitor. He will do anything to win. You saw it last night with 40, 11, and 12. That's incredible. I think I don't know how many minutes he played, but it was something absurd. And he wasn't tired because his conditioning's off the charts. Obviously at certain points he was gassed, but just to play with a guy who has such a high level of impact is, on both ends of the floor, is really fun to watch and fun to play with as well. I experienced that obviously throughout the beginning of the season. I started every game, and just breaking down film and watching everything he really does and how he gets his teammates involved and the little things that the average viewer wouldn't even see. Some people would see it. That's what I'm always impressed with. Like his just willingness to do whatever it takes. That's what's special about Jimmy. And then lastly, when he gets it going like that and just takes the game and just like squeezes the life out of it. I don't know. Like there's just something about it. Like give the ball to Jimmy and let's watch him go to work. Then he gets a stop. Then he gets another stop. Then he gets a rebound. Now he's out in transition. Boom. Now he makes the right play. And instead of thinking about, ooh, let me try to get 50 or whatever. No, I'm trying to make the right play. That's what I'm always so impressed with him is just the competitiveness and the team, mindset.